Hey guys, welcome back to Junk Drawer. I am Samuel Stewart.
I'm Antonio Lara,
I'm Brian Rivera.
and this is the Junk Drawer Podcast. Welcome back, everyone.
Yes, Junk Drawer. This is us. This is we. We is here.
So, Sam, you said you wanted to talk about music
Yes.
this episode, correct?
Yes, because we really got real in depth in the last episode, which is actually great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. A lot of people that watched it, like, dude, some people were like, I didn't play video games, but that was actually like pretty funny. You want the water? My bad.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
There you go.
It's filtered.
Oh,
filtered water.
Filtered water. This is an ad for filtered water.
Yeah, just drink filtered water.
Only filtered water.
Yeah. Don't drink bottled water, just filtered.
Just filtered.
But yeah, we got really into video games in our last podcast. In case you haven't gone to see it, might be in the card there or there. One of those two. One of those corners. Or just go on
Just
the actual
right
channel.
over all of our
Yeah,
voices.
boop, boop, boop.
Maybe it's spinning around the screen. Who knows?
More
More work for Tony.
Yep. I think that music is probably one of those like big contributors to everybody's lives. You know, getting through each day. I wouldn't say, get straight into the sad stuff, although sad stuff does make you feel better, oddly enough. Maybe it's just something to relate to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think music has more of an impact on some people more than others. But everyone definitely has some connection to music in their lives. There's always something that's connected to music that they can go back to and remember how they felt at that certain time. People are always listening to music. I think it doesn't matter who you are. You listen to music one way or another, whether that's movie or game soundtracks, whether that's a rapper you like, whether that's just like playing in the radio, whatever's playing on the radio at that time. Or if you genuinely get into music and you search out different music styles to listen to, everyone listens to music. And even though it might affect someone slightly more than you, I still think everyone has that connection to music, no matter who you are.
Definitely draws up like memories. Like just hearing one song, it could be ingrained in the back of your brain, and hearing that song again can bring up either good or bad memories.
Yeah. Which is funny when it comes to music, and that actually. Oh yeah, let's stay on this part, because I can say there's a number of songs that I have an attachment to. Like, I wouldn't say it's even just songs sometimes. Sometimes it's the artist. Sometimes it's the one song that they have, because sometimes you build that connection with people. Sometimes you build it with surroundings. So, like, whenever you go to a certain place, it makes you remember that portion of it. So,
Right.
When I was growing up, there's a song, Breathe, by Telepop Music. That one song, it always actually bring up not only my surroundings, but actually a similar smell. And come to find out years later, that smell is actually Midsummer's Night, which is a candle by Yankee Candle. I don't know if you guys have ever smelled that before, but it's like my all-time favorite. And I associate that from every time I got to spend with my dad. So, it's always, there. It was always like, wow, this like brings back memories, because, it's just key moments. There's like,
That's awesome.
whoa.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm the same way with a lot of music. I was always into music from the very beginning.
Look at your whole entire family. You guys are all like musically inclined, like amazingly so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I think how it started with me is a big influence on my life was definitely my dad. I used to listen to a lot of his music when I was younger, and he also bought a drum kit when we were very young, and I used to always play on it all the time. And that's like my main instrument that I play is the drums. I love the drums. Not only that, but like my parents got Guitar Hero for me when I was young as well for the PlayStation 2. So in the last episode, I said Guitar Hero was one of the few games that I'm really good at, and that's because I played it ever since I was a kid. I was really young when I first started playing it, so I got a lot of experience with that. And guitar as well. We had guitars around the house. I never actually learned how to play until high school, but just being able to hold a guitar helped significantly and being able to move my fingers around the fretboard, even if it was just like pressing buttons on a guitar controller, that helped significantly when I was trying to learn. So I learned really fast.
Yeah, I wish I had that kind of skill because I'm not musically inclined.
I am musically declined.
I'm with you on that one, Brian. I'm with you on that. Absolutely. I mean, like, there's not. I mean, it's always good to see people, find out songs that they like so much, but then actually are able to like replicate that themselves. Like, you see songs by like The Weeknd, Drake, anybody else, but then there's people who are playing those same songs like the violin, and you're like,
Yeah.
what?
I'm more impressed by classical music than I am by like a rap song or something like
You
that.
could never pass down a good piano. At least to me, that's my opinion. A good piano, it's art.
Yeah.
It's pure art to me.
It's one of the hardest instruments to learn.
Oh yeah,
Besides violin.
I know someone that knows violin.
Is it viola? Is that another one, or is it the same thing?
It's
It's
as
similar,
far as I know,
slightly
it's
easier from what I've heard.
Yeah, because my
they're like slight variations. I think. I mean, I can't really speak
Right.
that much. I'm not that educated on violin, but there's like viola, violin, fiddle.
yeah. I believe my brother Anir, he plays I believe he plays the violin. Either the violin, viola, one of those two. I always see it, and I'm just like, wow, I'd love to learn how to play that. I'm not gonna. So
That's how I am every time I pick up an instrument. Like, I have a guitar in my room. I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to play this, and then I just start, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, but
I'll stick to trying to sing.
right. So I sing low in the car. Woohoo.
if you've ever seen people playing violin, it looks, and they make it look easy.
Oh,
But it looks so hard to me.
Really?
Personally, because, well, first of all, there are no frets. It's just, I'm used to frets because I'm a guitar player. So you just kind of have to have your finger in the right place. If you have it slightly off, then it's going to sound slightly off.
Not only that, the strings are curved. Like
Yeah.
they make an arch.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention.
And it's not plucking the strings unless you are actually plucking the strings, which they do sometimes.
Plucking,
but
actually, when they.
There's a lot of moving when you're playing the violin.
That's why people get so into it.
Yeah.
Your whole body's into it. It's not just.
You if you know how to play violin correctly, you already look like a badass.
Pretty much every instrument in like a classical like setting is impressive if you know how to play it.
Yeah.
You're saying that people, grow up. It's just funny because like they're in your high school, they're like, you have to be in some type of art. And back when I was in middle school, they're like, yeah, you got to be in the band. I was like, oh god. And like I had nothing wrong with being in the band. It was fun. I played the trumpet actually for the longest time when I was in middle school and through high school. I stopped my junior year. I stopped playing my junior year. Yeah. It just wasn't for me. It's not that I couldn't play it. It's just like I personally didn't feel like I was good enough compared to everybody else because there were definitely people who were better than I was, and I was like, I might as well let them take it. Did I give up? Yeah, 100%. I did. But I always like seeing that talent in something that they can mainly progress in because I know where my talents lie, and it's not me blowing into an instrument. It's obviously my words, and that's about it. I got nothing else.
Honestly,
you still got to find it, I think. If you think that you only have, like, you definitely have something. I think everyone definitely has something that they are super talented in, whether it's like very obscure or if it's like a really general skill. Everyone has, like, for you personally, I think you're a very charismatic person.
Thanks.
A lot of people, yeah. A lot of people were saying that that I've talked to anyway, that Sam especially seemed very natural, whereas in the podcast I'm talking about, Sam seemed very naturally like into like that podcast mode. Whereas for me and Brian, we're still getting used to it. We're still kind of awkward when it comes to talking into a microphone.
the only difference is I'm awkward always.
This is true. Yeah.
I would like to say we got talking into video games, Brian. Oh, thank you, Tony, for saying that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
My self-confidence just boosted. When we got talking to video games, Brian, your confidence level was like, poof, I got this. You guys have no idea. And I was like, oh, look at Brian.
Yeah, that's his
'Cause
area.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's your thing though.
That and eat.
Yeah, I feel that. Me too. Can't even lie. Yeah.
I'm a foodie. I'm a food person. I like food. Nobody else likes food except for me.
God, I want to hate you.
It's just I know. I know what foodie means. I was just making fun of the people who say that, but
I mean, but I could. That's definitely be a great episode to do. Actually, us talking about food because there's a lot of things that people say about food. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I eat this." I'm like, "But are you willing to try this?" I'm like, "No." Stop talking. You're not a foodie. You can't.
Yeah.
If you can't try something else, honestly. But back to music. But I do think that sometimes music, it isn't always a helpful thing because you can be at your worst times and something can come up and then you associate that song with it because I know a number of people that back when I used to know them, they'd love this one song. I'd be like, yo, you still listen to that one song you listen to? Like, nah. I'm like, why not? There's some type of relation to it, like a negative memory that hit them down the road and they're like, yeah, I just can't do it anymore. I'm like, I understand that, but don't let that get you down. It's just a piece of what that memory is. So you just take what you want from it and you can either learn from it, get better from it, or you can just leave it behind. And if you just leave it behind, all the respect to you because that's just something that you have to grow. You have to grow to that.
Exactly.
personally, I love music so much that I don't think I could stop listening to a song just because it reminds me of something from like any dark day that I've had. Mm-hmm. Because I do have my handful of songs that remind me of dark places, but it doesn't, I don't know, maybe it's just I don't let it get to me that much. It's just when it reminds me of those times, I still want to listen to it because I think it's good to remember those times.
Still makes you feel something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but because it's still a part of your life.
Yes.
I understand that like, there are things that people just don't want to have in their lives at all, which is fine. I completely understand that, but I don't know. Personally, for me, my life is my life, and I want to remember all of it. No matter what it is, it's part of who I am, and I want to remember it because that's part of what makes me me.
Well, yeah, memories are memories, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Another thing, when actually growing up and listening to music, me being the ethnicity that I am, being the color of being an African American, people associate that you mainly listen to rap. I do listen to rap.
Yeah.
But I mainly grew up listening to R&B, and listening to R&B, I ventured out in the opposite direction, I would say. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Michael Jackson, Outkast, dude, like everywhere. My music was just everywhere. So like growing up, I'm just like, wow, I could really like, try different things. Like we talked about in episode 1, we listened to Gorillaz through high school. That's what we did. And that's something that kept us like, interested. Back from that, we actually just before this, we freaking listened to Skrillex. Like, like it was just that's just complete different genre. And not only that, to many people actually. Favorite artist of all time right now is Masego. Go check him out. He's fantastic. I'm not saying response to him. Don't know him personally, but it's great. Great music. If you like jazz and trap music, he's pretty darn good. But actually, to some people's surprise, I actually listened to Oh Wonder. People don't know who the heck that is, but yet when I say a key lyric from it, from one of their songs, is actually played with what's his name? Uzi. He actually had part of their song in his, and they're like, wow, who was that? And I'm like, that's Oh Wonder. They're like, you know them? Yeah, I've known them since like middle school. Huh. So it's been some years.
I think I know what song you're talking about. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
But they're great artists, and if you love the music no matter what, I'm not saying you should be like, they're the best, whatever, but express yourself. If that's something that you really do love and like, and somebody asks you about it, don't feel bad about it because you like the music. It's nobody, if they judge you for it, I'm sorry, but they're being jerks. There's no real point for somebody to be like, you listen to that? Nobody cares, man. You listen to it. They probably listen to some soft stuff to themselves.
It's just like the thing with country music. Like, I know a lot of people that listen to country music, but I have met people that are like,
Nothing wrong with that, man.
I personally, I like some country music. I don't like some.
That's true.
But that's just me. I know a lot of people that don't like country music at all, and that's fine. But that doesn't make country music bad music, and it's the same with rap. I listen to some rap, but not all of it. I don't like all of it. That doesn't make
You don't
make
like
it
rap.
bad music
Yeah.
in my eyes.
I completely agree with you, Sim. By the way, you said mumble rap.
Oh yeah, mumble rap's interesting. It's not.
It's a different form of art, but I
It is.
will say it's one of because personally I listen to literally anything, and I hate when I get asked like, "Oh, what kind of music are you into?" and I say literally anything, and they ask me to specify. So I just
That's
open
true.
up my Spotify at this
that is
point
true.
and show them my playlist of
Yeah.
over 8,000 songs I have liked.
Right. Sorry.
She would take a pause.
Both of my nieces are here, so you might hear some screeching, to say the least, in the background. Sorry if that happens at all during the podcast.
Hey, we'll probably cut a little bit of it.
Yeah, we'll cut as much as possible. But yeah, generally, people tend to stick to the music genre that they listen to in their teen years.
Yeah.
I think there have been studies on that too. That people, when they start listening to a certain genre of music, especially during their younger years, they stick to that, and they stick to that for a lot of their lives. So I've heard a lot of people saying like, start listening to lots of different types of music as early as you can, so you can like pretty much any genre of music. And you hear that from when you hear older people say, "What kind of music is this? This is the devil's music." And
boy.
that has happened in
I've
every.
actually heard that. Song.
I have also heard that.
That happens in every generation. That happened when rock came around in the 50s. Old people used to say, the devil's music. But people now, old people have been saying that about rap nowadays, and it's a lot of that being
A lot
into
of
it.
rap is it's the stoners music.
Yeah.
It's a lot of them being close-minded in music. They call it bad music when
Just because they don't like it.
no music is bad music, in my opinion.
It's all a form of art.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I will never pass down listening to somebody else's new song that they offer me to listen to. I will listen to it entirely, but then I'll give you my full opinion if I don't like it or not. I will say this generation of music
It's
kind of...
questionable.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes it lacks a story. But that's just my opinion. I like music that tells a story. I
Right.
would say, which is why I like A Wonder, which is why I liked Outkast, which is why I liked Michael Jackson. It was always a story that was giving you something. But Masego's stuff gives a story. Some other stuff though, I was kind of it seems repetitive almost. You're saying,
Well, yeah, that's what I was just about to say. It seems like not all, but a lot of modern of the bigger,
names.
bigger names. Yeah, it just seems like they're cut and paste
Yeah.
of each other and themselves.
Yes. And another thing is, I feel like some artists are creating stories, creating songs that are more catchy, and don't really tell you something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's focused more on the sound rather than the message.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Some stuff's catchy. Some stuff, the beats in it, it's pretty nice.
And that's probably
Pretty
why
nice.
it's so
But just give me the
popular.
beat.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's so popular too, is because it's catchy.
Yes.
And I'm not shaming anyone for listening to music based on the sound,
Oh, no.
because that's completely okay. But personally, I like to listen to the lyrics and the message as well. Which a lot of people will say that they do, even if it's more about the sound. But
It all depends on the person, and nobody's wrong.
right.
Nobody's wrong in how they see it.
Nobody likes a gatekeeper, just like I said, and I think it was the last
It
episode.
was
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
episode, yep.
Yeah.
it was.
So don't be one of those people that kind of go, "Oh, you don't even know the lyrics. You don't even know what the song means. You can't like it." if they enjoy the music, let them enjoy their music.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not.
Unless you're the artist, you really have no say.
Right. And I could say that for anything. Don't be a gatekeeper. Nobody likes a gatekeeper because it's not right. Let people enjoy the things that they like to for their own reason.
Yeah, and that goes for everything, not just music.
Right.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Speaking of another, going back to gorillas, it was funny. This is two different cases actually happened not too long ago. I was on the way home from Iowa and talking to my friend Sarah. Talking about gorillas. You know how every once in a while you'll find somebody that actually has the same like in that type of genre of music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving and I was like, man, she's pretty cool. I was like, she's pretty cool. Because she like knew what she was talking about. She knew the music. And I was like, man, that's awesome. But in another case, I was talking to somebody else and they're like, gorillas. Like, man, it seems like they just got like a bunch of, just saying something. It doesn't really seem real relevant, blah, blah. They certainly don't have too many other people on there. I'm like, not too many people on there. That's where you're wrong.
They have so many
Yeah,
people
So
for
many
that people.
features. And somebody was making fun of the fact like it doesn't really like sound something that'll catch their eye, or who does the actual rapping portion for gorillas? That's
Something to my tongue.
I can't think of his name.
I can't either.
In the older songs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's gosh.
I don't. I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, not the point. But
Obviously, I'm not a true gorilla. fan.
but
Heathen.
right, you liar.
It's just the other two people who can't remember his name.
Yeah. But I was sitting there. I was talking to somebody like, man, do you realize that Schoolboy Q has been on one of their songs? Snoop Dogg has been on one of their songs.
Right.
I almost said Masego, not Masego. Was it Anderson Paak?
Was it?
It was Anderson Paak or gosh, I feel so bad since I can't remember his name because I listen to him all the time too. But it's a bunch of known rappers and artists to this day have still been features on Gorilla albums.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I didn't know that they're still making this many features. And like, it's something like that is so impressive. And people are like, don't realize that artists collab all the time and people aren't aware of that they make such a beautiful song at that. I'm just like, like you said, people got to venture out. People got to know what's out there. You can't just stop on what you like. Don't get me wrong. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I respect that.
Yeah.
Just don't knock anybody else down. Or if somebody
don't
tries to offer you something, don't be
Don't
like,
restrict yourself to one genre.
yeah.
Right. Something about gorillas is that you can't really put a genre on them either.
Oh, no.
I don't think I have anything more to say about it. You just can't. You could put a genre on some of their songs, but that's not even. You don't put a genre on just a song. Usually, and it's the same thing with 21 Pilots. They do a lot of different genres as well.
That is very true.
Because, but the reason specifically about Gorillaz is that they just kind of make their own music.
They make it,
There's a lot of
everything is unique.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything is unique from them.
It's a lot like Bare Naked Ladies. Like a lot of their songs are they're similar but different. They range in genre from like pop to I don't even know what you'd call their normal kind of style of music.
Yeah, there are some
Because it's
styles.
not pop, but it's not.
I would probably say like maybe rock. I don't know.
It's rock, but it's not.
Yeah.
It feels too loose to be rock, and they use a lot of classical instruments.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the main guys plays cello.
It's impressive.
Because he doesn't. He
Right.
You know.
There are a lot of bands that I listen to that I can't really put just a specific genre. It's like a bunch of genres mixed together, you know. I know a few metal bands that like to use a lot of different, and you classify them as like a metal band, but they use a lot of different components from different genres into their music. One band specifically is Avenged Sevenfold. That's one of my favorite bands of all time. And Avenged Sevenfold is a band that I used to listen to in middle school a lot. That's how I met Brandon. I was on the bus listening to Avenged Sevenfold, and he saw my phone. He's like, hey, I listen to them too, badass, and we became friends from there, literally, and not metaphysically, literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
Anyway, but I really like to watch their breakdown videos that they have on YouTube, because they break down their songs.
How they
and
do it.
Yeah, they'll single out a track, or they'll single out a few different tracks
Different
to play
chords
for
and
you.
stuff.
Yeah, and it's so. Before watching these videos, I already appreciated their music for what it was a lot, but watching these videos made me appreciate it even more, which I didn't even know was possible. There are so many layers that go into their songs that you don't really hear, but at the same time, if you were to take them out, you would know something was missing from the song. Everything in their song, like everything in their music, has a purpose. Every sound that they have, they layer it with other sounds sometimes too. There's a lot of vocal tracks going on a lot of the time, lots of guitar. And like I was saying earlier, with the different styles of music, the drummer, their previous drummer, well, I guess whoever their drummer is, they've had like 3, I think. They always
that.
like to use different styles. Like I really like the funk / disco drum beats personally. I think they sound really cool in metal, because it's like it's 2 styles of music coming together to create something really cool, in my opinion. I like the sound of it a lot.
I'm impressed.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
have something else to look up after we are done with this. Right, man?
I'm gonna talk about music a lot during this podcast. Cause I like, actually, another band. If I'm going to talk about my 3 or 4 favorite bands of all time.
Tool.
No,
Yes,
you're
I
not.
was actually.
You're not.
Fuck you. First of all, second of all, yes, I was gonna bring up Tool next.
See, I get the yes, you get the fuck you.
This time.
Listen.
Anyway, Tool. So I hadn't really started listening, actually started listening to them until about, I think it was like maybe last summer or the summer before, which I've always liked them. I knew who they were as a band. My dad used to listen to them. But the thing is, we never really had any of their CDs. And for a long time, they would only sell CDs. They wouldn't go on any streaming platform. Now they are. They are on Spotify, at least. I don't know how many other streaming services they're on. But I remember when they finally went on to put their music on Spotify, I listened to a lot of them. I started listening to them a lot more because I could. It was just a lot more convenient, and I liked. It was around that time too where I started like watching videos about people breaking down their songs, and one song in particular I think is really cool is Lateralis. So Lateralis, it has to do with the Fibonacci sequence, with the syllables in each like stanza, how the drum beat goes with the song. They're different, but they intertwine and they make it work together. It's so cool how that mathematic thing just
Makes music.
yeah. It's super cool, and the lyrics are about the.
It's super cool. Math is not.
No, I love math.
I don't know. Have you ever been
freaking-
on Cool Math?
I suck at math.
Math is so cool. Only the cool kids like math.
I was good at English.
That wasn't.
I was particularly good at math, I think, when I was in school. Math was like one of the only things I had a really easy time with.
Couldn't do it.
For me, it was chemistry.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
I was
interesting.
good at any other science but chemistry. I think it's because there's just so many numbers and measurements. Just like,
Chemistry was hard for me. I couldn't do it.
gosh.
But going back to Tool, especially a lot of their lyrics too. Maynard James Keenan is a fucking genius. He's the lead singer for Tool, and he writes most of their music. The way they make music too is pretty interesting. I think I watched an interview where I think it was first the bassist comes up with a bass line, then he brings it to the rest of the band, and they make it into the rest of the band being the guitarist and the drummer, and they make a beat following that. It's usually some weird
concoction of ideas.
It's usually a weird time signature. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
I've heard.
It's basically how the beats come together. Most songs are 4/4, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4.
You explain it that way. Sorry, I'm kind of stupid.
No, I
I
just understand that because I studied music a lot. But for anyone who doesn't, know music that well, it's whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or some music is 3/4, which is just 3 beats and a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You get the point. But usually they have like really weird time signatures in their songs, and if you listen to it, you'll be able to hear that the weird, and they change a lot too.
In the middle of it,
in the middle of the song. Usually when it gets to the chorus, they add a beat or something like that. But yeah, they'll usually like create the track, and then after that they send it to the lead singer, Maynard, and he kind of writes the lyrics about like what he feels with the song. He listens to the track, and he'll write the lyrics to how he feels the song should be about. So I just think that's super impressive how you can just do that. It amazes me, especially with the lyrics that he writes. They hold so much meaning. I'm just like speechless.
Yeah.
He's like
the power
that band,
of music.
It
does it to you.
It
really
does it to me. Yeah. It blows my mind, and that's what I love.
When you really sit down and like think about how people actually make music, it's a lot more than just, it's a lot more than people think. It's a lot harder. It's a lot more. There's a lot more thought that goes into it, especially when you're trying to tell a story.
Right. And another thing about gatekeepers, really quick, is that they can say, you don't know what the song is actually about, or any stuff like that. But in reality, a song can be whatever the hell you want it to be about. Yep. If you can connect to it in a way that the artist didn't originally intend, that's okay. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
If you enjoy
song
the
is
music,
still good.
Yeah. If you enjoy the music for the way you interpret it, that's the way you interpret it, and that's what I like so much about. I think I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was on a Hot Ones episode. They had Billie Eilish, and she said the same thing.
I think you are correct on that.
Yeah, he asked her a question like,
her beats are sick in her songs.
I haven't sat down and listened too much, but I from what I've heard, I do agree.
The bass is phenomenal.
Yeah. And if we're taking a second to actually talk about Billie Eilish music, I know it's like a joke to have like 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds crying about Billie Eilish's music, but I've listened to full songs and I've cried. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Billie Eilish, she fucking hits home sometimes.
She does make some really good music, I will admit, and I'm kind of
it's really emotional. Even if the song isn't, like, the lyrics don't relate to me as much, the sound of the music makes me fucking sad. She's so good at making that sound.
I will say, back to you, 14, 15-year-olds feeling that way. It's because they haven't 100% experienced life right on hand.
Yeah.
At least a few of them. I'm not saying you haven't or have not, because I don't know any better what you've been through. But I'm sure a little bit over 50% probably have not.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But yeah, she's
Wait,
really
one more
good.
thing. We changed spaces. Well, not entirely. Camera angles.
Yeah,
In case you guys haven't noticed, I
I'm
figured
on
I'd
the
just
right
put
now.
that. Yeah.
yeah. We're just kind of experimenting with things
Yeah.
right now, especially
Tony still
with
doesn't want
sound.
to sit next to me.
You were the one that arranged this. I just figured I would sit here. You were sitting there before, and then you moved over. So I mean,
It's for consistency. I meant from day one.
so back to what I was saying about music is, he asked her a question like, "What do you think about these people who what or I think it was like, what do you think about people who don't quite interpret your songs right, or to interpret it wrong?" And she said that. She said, well, it doesn't matter the way you interpret it. If you interpret it a different way than I intended, it's fine. Because if you can connect to the way you interpreted it, that's how all music should be. Is that if you can connect to it, that's a very powerful thing in music. And that's the way I think most artists would want their music to be interpreted. Just like, as long as you can connect to it.
Not even just music, just art in general. Like,
yeah,
That's true.
you can feel a certain piece, you can't feel a certain piece. Like, or even like in theatrical art,
Yeah.
just not like something, but somebody else could love it.
Yeah, it's the power that's literally within your words.
Mm-hmm.
right.
I think I'm gonna go into motivational speaking and change my podcast into that. Just get people going.
You should do that.
Yeah.
If you think let me try that again.
have a
If
stroke?
you think, I think so. Yeah, if you think you should do that, like, do it. Like, go ahead,
Yeah.
fucking do whatever you want.
Try something different. Try something new.
Hell yeah. Speaking of like the lyrics thing, I know. Here's another one of my favorite bands of all time is Vampire Weekend.
It's a very good band.
Now that's kind of different from the previous two bands that I've said before, but
flip.
I love all kinds of music. We were just talking about this. We love all kinds of fucking music. But Vampire Weekend, when I started listening to them, if you listen to their lyrics, if you read their lyrics, it's really obscure. And I also really like that style of lyrics, like kind of stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Some of their music you can kind of get a story from it, but there are other songs that kind of don't. It's again very obscure lyrics. It's kind of hard to gather anything from it, but if you can gather something from that, even if it's not what the artist originally intended, I think it's pretty cool that you can, and I think that's partly why I don't know if this is actually true, but I would think that's partly why they make their lyrics so obscure, is so that people can interpret it differently than one another. It's not so it's not that clear as to what the lyrics are about per se, but it's more about feeling it and interpreting it in the way you feel that you can connect to it correctly.
You're absolutely correct, Tony.
Yeah.
Because like you said, going on from all your different loves for your different bands and whatnot, whatever you take from it and whatever you get from it, and you take it upon yourself, and how you can actually feel a certain way from their music. Like you said, the obscurity of it still brings like such a powerful emotion to you. It's a phenomenal experience, no matter who you are, what you're going through. Like we said at the very beginning, music is, no matter who you are, music is going to take that toll on you.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you feel something, be good or bad. You're gonna love it.
It can heal or it can hurt. But
It can definitely hurt.
oh yeah.
But yeah, I will. It's funny when they incorporate songs to like video games and stuff. You kind of go ahead and search that out, and you're like, what is that? What is this song? Speaking of finding music, my Spotify weekly is about the most funniest thing that I look at every Monday. Because I'm like, man, that song is good. And I've been listening to the next one. What the heck is this? Because then I looked at my likes. I'm like, that's probably why that's there. That's not hating on the artist or anything, but I'm just like, that wasn't a good song to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good song.
It's very hit or miss.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. I feel the same way about some artists. They're like a song that I hear that I really like, and I was like, oh, I'll go check out this artist. But then they the majority of like the rest of their music isn't like quite
Yeah.
doesn't quite hit you the same way as that one
hit
song
wonders
did.
there.
Yeah.
It's always frustrating.
Which again, it's personal taste. It's
Yes.
not. It doesn't mean they're a bad artist
Yeah.
by any means. But
Gosh.
yeah, you know, like Brian said, it's either hit or miss for you. It's all about personal taste.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like food.
It's be a literal taste.
Yeah, literal taste, but you taste with your ears.
With music.
Music.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
my brain went literal taste in ears. No one's like, wait.
He's like, wait a minute. I mean, technically, your ears, nose, and mouth are all connected, right? Am I wrong?
Well, if you're going that far, everything's connected.
You are correct. You are correct. And yes. Yes.
I don't think your ears are connected though, in the way that you're thinking.
Well, yeah, I don't mean like that, but like you ever like cleaned out your ears, but then you like go.
No, that's just you.
Need you see a doctor, Sam?
Just gonna be quiet for the rest of the episode.
You just itch your knee and sneeze.
I do think, even when it comes into music, speaking religiously, I'm not entirely religious, I will say, but I will say for those that listen to the gospel and it's something like that is powerful enough to move people. I've been in church, I've gone to actually multiple of them, and the power of the gospel that people hear, you know, it really brings people to tears, and I think that is still an amazing sight, you know, to see people have that reaction to, you know, the music that's coming to them. Don't get me wrong, there's even more attachments when you know it comes from like the Bible and whatever else, but you know, it's still that effect of music, because some people relate more to the music than they do the words.
Yeah.
But that's just my experience from, you know, actually being there and being in church.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm not religious myself at all. But yeah, you are right. Gospel music is very powerful.
It really is.
It's just the way it's presented and sung. It's just nuts to hear.
I am super into music. If you couldn't tell by now, I am super into music. Music just period is super powerful to me. If you can anything that comes naturally to you, when songwriting I think is really cool. I've seen interviews, I've heard podcasts of like artists that go on and they talk about their different kind of music style, how their music writing process. They're drastically different. There's no right way to write a song. Some people it comes naturally. Some people they come up with a guitar riff and then they feel lyrics coming on. Some artists it's the other way around. They create the lyrics first and then the music. It all depends on how you how it comes to you naturally, like the most.
I think another big thing when it comes to like artists and stuff is, you know, when an artist passes away or unfortunately, you know, they are in some type of accident. Just recently, Vaughn just recently passed away not too long ago. I don't know if either of you guys listened to it. You didn't know who he is? Okay. He just recently passed away, and like the world gets shocked by that. X died.
Yeah.
That was a huge shocker to a lot of people because I loved his music. I really did. The screaming stuff, I won't lie, got me laugh because it really did. But like it always like got me in a good mood because, you know, you don't normally yell at the top of your lungs to music, but like that's how you like. Gah!
Yeah.
You know, but but like Michael Jackson, he unfortunately, you know, passed away due to an accident. You know, stuff like that. It really shakes the world. You know, because
their music has an impact on people.
Yeah, to tons of people, a lot of people. So it's like almost that part of you has been stripped away, even though it wasn't like necessarily yours. You know, it's never reproduced for anybody to hear anymore. It's gone. Juice passed away. That was heartbreaking.
That was
for millions. And people were speechless. and which is, I wouldn't say it's a good thing that they passed away, which is not where I'm going. I'm saying, but still, they left a legacy behind, having kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
I also think that kind of sucks because some people are going to expect something of that children. They're not their parents. They're not. They're going to create their own path and grow up how they want to be. So if anybody tries to get on them about that, I'll probably say something. And I don't even know the people, but it's different because you can never replace somebody that has passed.
What's always nuts to think about though is like the money side of music as well, because like you said, it was almost or it's not good that they passed away, but I bet their publicists think so.
Oh, in a way, yeah,
because their music will now skyrocket.
Yeah, and although it's brief, it's still the big thing.
Yeah. Another thing, I don't know if you guys heard about what happened to Kesha.
I didn't hear.
So I think I watched this in the YouTube video. I didn't know exactly what had happened either until I.
Is this recent?
Well, no. When Kesha was really popular, when she got signed by like her record company, whatever that was, I don't remember what it was. But they kind of forced her to do things that she didn't want to do.
Oh yes, okay,
yeah, that kind of
I
thing.
do know what you're talking about. I'm like, just recently? I'm like, why
Yeah,
not?
no, just like what
you
happened with
mentioned
her,
that. I think I
her
have heard a
popular
little bit of it.
music.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do know what you're talking about.
they kind of forced her to go into like this all party thing, like people like music about partying and getting drunk and shit like that. So they had her dressed in skimpy outfits for music videos, and sing
her.
songs about that kind of stuff. Which it did get popular, but that's not what she wanted to do, and there were things happening, behind closed doors, where people didn't know what kind of shit was happening to her.
Which you guys probably should do your own research into this.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say because it's been a while since I watched the video. I don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, there were things that happened that people didn't know about for a long time, and she finally broke out of it, which I'm very happy for her. I never really listened to her music that much other than hearing it on the radio, but that kind of thing sucks to hear about, especially being that young and signing a record deal can be a very exciting thing, and then
It's also
to
very
have
dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, it is very dangerous.
You're still young and you are easily influenced.
Yeah, it can be very exciting, but you have to be careful because you can see from that bad things can happen from that.
And it's sad to see, and it happens a lot in the movie business as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of actors that are just made to do things they don't want to do, but they do it because it's money.
It's their contract too.
It's their contract, and like I said, money makes everyone do whatever. You throw the right dollar, you throw enough zeros behind the one, you'll do whatever.
That's true.
Well, not only that, but they might lose their job, and if they can't make money, that's the thing.
And then they get bad PR.
Yeah, I will say, wanting to be an actor as I grew up, actually still my number one dream. So if you hear me and hear my voice, I'm more than welcome to do it. Anyways,
We'll hop on voice acting.
Right? Yeah, us all just.
I would love to voice act.
Voice acting would be great because especially
fun.
you can still do that at home too. So you can go wherever you want to go.
I would love to do anime dubs. Oh, that would be so cool.
Dude, that'd be
just to hear.
sick.
Yeah.
You imagine us in anime?
Dude.
It'd be so dumb, but I love it.
Imagine us being an anime, but we do like a newscast thing. It's like 3 of us or something. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like I would love to do either anime or video games. Those would be my two number one things I would love to do.
Especially now since they have the CG of people's faces and stuff on there.
Yeah.
I think that's dope.
Definitely good luck getting into video games right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of people's faces in video games.
Oh, no.
The Last of Us Part 2 did that. They had face models for people. If you guys aren't aware, they had face models for their characters. But then they had different actors play their characters. So it was somebody else's face on an actor that was in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they changed their body a little bit too, but
the fit.
like seeing there are two people in particular that I've seen the face model for, and that's Dina and that's Abby. And it's so weird seeing them in real life after playing through the whole game, and it's like they're
That's you.
nothing like their characters, and it's the same thing with just regular actors too. Just I would have never guessed that Tom Holland was British.
Oh no,
And he's so good at that.
The
American
first time I heard his
accent.
voice, I was like, "There's no way this guy has to be joking."
Is he putting on another character or what?
Like, is he coming a Kingsman or something?
It's the same
What?
for the guy who plays Lucifer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
I always find it super impressive when you find a British actor that has been talking in an American accent, and you just find out you're like, what? Because they're so good at it.
Yeah.
And it's the same the other way around too. You hear
Exactly.
a British person who is actually American.
I want to be an actor so bad.
I keep forgetting that Chris Hemsworth is Australian. Like, you could hear it when he
A little bit.
Yeah, you can hear when he speaks in like movies, but it's like I always forget where to place that accent.
Yeah.
Like, because there's not many big Australian actors. I mean, there are. But
I was just gonna bring one up, Sam Neill.
Yep.
Too. I just recently, if you guys don't know, Sam Neill is the guy who played Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park in the first and the third one. And he's coming back for Jurassic Park Dominion. I'm excited. Personally, I don't really like the Jurassic World movies compared to the Jurassic Park movies, but I still enjoy them. They're still fun.
That's just like what we talked about in the second episode when we talked about video games. You can't really compare it to something else, but in itself, it's still pretty good.
Well, the second one leaves
It leaves
more to be
cliffhanger.
desired.
Yeah.
The first Jurassic World's good.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the sequels to a lot of movies are pretty meh. The only one to this day that I like more than the first movie would be The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Huh.
I can't remember which one that is because I'm not very familiar with Star Wars.
Hoth, Ice Planet.
Okay, the one where they're the one where they're shooting, they're flying around shooting at each other in the ice planet in the beginning, right?
Yeah. The giant mechanical camels.
Yeah,
There you go.
Camels. They're called walkers, right?
Yeah, AT-ATs.
AT-ATs.
I could go on a whole rant about Star Wars. I'm not gonna though.
That's for
Save
another
that
episode.
yeah, I was just gonna say.
When we
that.
talk about movies. Well, we don't know yet. I might be moving to something else.
I might never shut up.
Hey, that's all right, man. More content for us.
Anyway, back to I was talking about Sam Neill. He's so old now, but he looks so good.
Yo,
He's like 80, I think. He's like 80 something.
that is another thing. Seeing actors as you grow up,
Yeah.
and then you see them now, you're like, whoa, you got old, but you're still acting and doing a darn good job.
Yeah, I just saw him. This movie came out of like 2015, 2016, I think. But it's like the Hunt Down the Wildepeople or something like that. It's on Netflix.
I know what you're talking about.
I'll have to
I
watch
haven't
it.
watched it yet.
It's an Australian movie with Sam Neill and then this. I feel bad. I don't remember this kid's name, but he's a little chubby kid. He's a good actor. It's so amazing, like seeing movies, like child actors in movies, and then you realize, wait a second, that's a kid, and they're acting in a movie, and you just forget that they're acting because they're such good actors.
yeah.
What's
So
more
amazing.
impressive to me is Trained to Animals.
Trained to Animals.
Trained Animals.
Trained,
yeah.
Not trained to animals.
I thought you were like
trained.
I thought you were saying like a title of a movie or
No.
something. But yeah, that's also really cool. I think. Like,
I've watched a few like clips where how the process is, and they see the animals seem like, oh, like I could have that in my house. That seems okay. But like as you like continue to progress, you're like, that's actually a wild animal. That's not a good idea.
No.
But the process that people go with and the actual like attachment that these people have with these animals is impressive. You know, just watching that, you're like, oh, I wish I could do that.
I can't even train a dog.
I train myself to get up in the morning.
I'm gonna before I get my own pet, I'm gonna binge. Was it Dog Whisperer?
Dog
I'm
Whisperer.
gonna binge every single episode of Dog
Dude,
Whisperer.
he was in an episode of Bones recently. Like,
Really?
yeah, I was watching Bones. I'm like, I do not remember this man being in Bones.
I just
Interesting.
recently started rewatching House. I'm probably gonna end up rewatching Lost next. Lost series was long.
If you haven't watched Bones, watch Bones.
Bones out to rewatch Bones.
Good
Man.
show.
I need to watch that period.
You need to watch a lot of shows I've
Yeah.
recommended to you.
I do. I do want to watch Lost in Space. That's one. I'm
You and me
interested
are
in.
very bad about, like, you'll recommend like music to me and I'll forget to listen to it, and
I'll recommend shows to you. I recommended Attack on Titan, which I said in the first episode is my favorite anime of all time. You still haven't watched it all the way
I
through.
have a lot of shows I still need to watch.
That's true.
Speaking of
I think
recommendations, if you've heard any of us say any type of song, movie, and or show, you should actually go watch it yourself. And if you actually watched it already, leave a comment down below. And by the way, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you subscribed, hit that bell icon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just really had to get that in there. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff though nowadays. You know, from music, movies.
We live in a
new
world
actors.
of media.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's a good thing. It is something to keep everybody busy,
Interesting time. Let's just say
Interesting time,
that.
especially now.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
now. Well, I just watched this like a few years later and be like, it's still an interesting time.
It is. It's a very interesting time.
Oh gosh, but yeah, it's funny when we think about how everybody's doing such great things, and you know, looking at them, you're like, wow, I can do that. The process to become an actor, I tried to go through, and I was like, I couldn't do it. Personally, I couldn't, but I'd rather create my own content and find my own way, and you know,
Right.
get noticed. Because one, money, obviously. Two, time. It's another thing. I'm not saying I can't be devoted to something because that's something I always wanted to do, but at the same time, you know, I can't because there's other things I have to apply myself to and be prepared for, because as you get older, you get more responsibilities, things change.
Right.
But for people who create music, you know, they finally are able to take that time and devotion to be able to do it. Of course, they might have a helping hand, they might be able to do it on their own, but you know, they did something else to get there. So as you said, you saw a child in that Australian movie.
Yeah.
Whatever process that he took, however he took to actually get there, you know, congratulations to him. He did a fantastic job, and now he's really farther than any of us when it comes to something like that.
Honestly.
But he probably grew up with that. And he probably grew up with that helping hand. You know,
Yeah.
had some assistance to get there. I'm not saying he didn't do it on his own. If he did, I'm impressed because I can't do that.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid.
Yeah, especially as a kid.
Do you ever see some of these child actors and go, I wonder how much them and or their family are getting paid to
Yeah.
just be in the, like, in Avengers, Tony Stark's daughter. Like, how
Yeah.
much money do you think her and or her family made just for that little bit of screen time? So it's
Right.
a major Disney movie.
More than I can make in a year.
Probably more than I could make in 3.
Right. Not debunking anything for that, but like I will say, you know, things like that for actors and whatnot, it does actually make it takes a toll on the actor, because I believe who played Aquaman in Justice League.
His name is...
I'm terrible.
It's on the tip of my tongue,
I
but I'm
can-
pretty sure it's one of those, like, hard...
I
to
can tell
properly
you
say names.
what movie, whoever it is, and the name movie that they're in,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't be able to tell you what their name is.
He was also in Game of Thrones.
Yes, that's the thing. He was in Game of Thrones, but during that time period, he
Mm-hmm.
got paid for it. He was stricken with debt, I believe, for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
For him and his family.
the live action film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jason Mom something? Jason Momoa.
MoMA.
Jason Momoa.
Jason
Momo?
Mom.
Momoa.
Momoa? I don't know.
I apologize if I messed up your name.
Yeah, because he's watching this.
I hope you watch. Can we like at him?
Jason Momoa. Sir, please like
Hey.
our video.
Yeah, thanks.
There's I forgot to put a picture up, but I think last episode you were talking about the video game high school show. I think it's just
Yes.
called Video Game High School.
Oh,
VGHS.
Yes, that's what it is.
I watched the first episode.
And did you see what I was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty sick, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was a great series. But back to that, being an actor and going through stuff like that, there are points to where you'll be down to the dirt, as I've heard. I wouldn't know.
Dude, I heard method actors are the ones that get it the worst.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, because they get into the life of this character. I mean,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
You get stuck
yeah.
into it.
I started. I don't know I don't remember if I finished it or not. But there's a documentary out there. I think it was Jim Carrey that was.
Yep. Yeah.
He was method acting this
Phenomenal
actor.
Jim Carrey's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
You're right.
he was method acting this one guy that I think was also an actor and was basically his like idol when he was growing up. And they were making a movie about him. Jim Carrey got the opportunity to play him, and he methodized him, and that took a toll on him.
Mm-hmm.
That took a huge toll on him.
I actually use that whenever we did shows in high school. I like slowly became that character in a way. When we did, oh gosh, I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. When we did Starmites, for anybody that has ever seen Starmites, I will never do that again. But I played Shot Gra, which is the villain. I had to figure out a way to make myself the bad guy. And to this day, I still somewhat use that mentality of being the bad guy in order to push myself forward. And you read the description for that, didn't you?
Not all the way through.
Don't. Gosh. Great concept story. How we did it wasn't the best. I was upset with quite a few people in that production that we did. And for the people that went through that hell of a show, you know how pissed I was. Not the point of this, but sometimes, I had to have a maniacal laugh. I had to figure that out. But I still think that's kind of where, my attitude comes from. When I get angry, I pull a little bit of shot gra out. And, I have this really, menacing presence that kind of tells people, hey, shut up before things get bad. But, those characters become a part of you over time. Mm-hmm. What's the one we did in high school? The boot fell from the sky. What's the
Almost Maine.
Almost Maine.
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that?
The boot fell from the sky.
Yeah, right. In that scene, I was stressed. I was worried things weren't going right and everything else. And I still take that upon myself when I actually go through everyday life. I feel like I'm back in that scene, because I still feel some strange attachment to it.
Yeah.
It's almost like shouldn't make fun of PTSD about this, and which I'm not, but it kind of feels that way. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm back in that scene, that heat of that moment. During that, it kind of hits me, and I'm like, stressed beyond belief. Yeah. Still another level. But for anybody who's been on stage, and even for you being backstage, if things don't go right, you kind of get that moment. It's kind of oh crap, here we go again. Mm-hmm. This stuff sticks with you. So when like you said, for method actors before, it's that stuff sticks with them for an eternity. Honestly,
there was a scene in Almost Maine that I think of now that you mentioning. It's stressful being backstage, where we hit the light cue to go and there was no lights, and I was quick board go. I just hear somebody, it's dark, and I'm I know on.
Oh yeah, the stuff like that it's fun though. Mm-hmm. It becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
You feel that, and you'll always feel that. You're never going to pass those moments up. Back to when we talked about music, it's a part of you. You never want to forget that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're going to always want to, I wouldn't say you always want to relive that moment, but
you always want to remember that as a part of you.
Yeah. You guys, didn't it at one point, we we like pulled the lever for the boat and it like didn't fall.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we
Yeah.
like went through it and everything, and all I hear is just on the floor, and everybody in the audience is cracking up. Oh gosh.
That's funny.
Oh, I wish I was back in theater.
Those were
I need
good
to get
times.
back. I need to get back into. I need to find a job.
Those,
in theater.
yeah, those were great times being in high school theater.
You think we could do our own production? Just like make our own thing up.
I mean, maybe we need somewhere to actually do it.
Well, yeah, but like, you know,
back in
We don't
high
have the money.
school.
You say we don't.
no.
You right.
Back when I was in when we were in high school, I remember doing my first show, and I remember the very first moment, lights up. The very first moment I was seen on stage acting, in an actual show, was an incredible moment.
Starcatcher.
It was Peter and the Starcatcher, and we started the show with everyone's backs to the audience, and then one person would turn around when their line came at a time, because there was a separate part where every character wasn't like actually their character. It was like it was like the prologue kind of.
That was a fun show to light.
Yeah, I just remember being up there and like feeling really excited. I thought it would be nervous, but all I could feel in that moment was excitement. Just knowing that there was a crowd of people behind me watching me act.
That show's the one that made me really fall in love with theater, just because like
Me too. Yeah.
like I remember our original tech theater teacher Slager. I was like, because the thing about second year technicians is we had to be part of a production
Yeah.
to get full credit in the class. And I was like, I'm just dreading it. I didn't know what crew I wanted to join or whatever.
Yeah.
And Slager was like, well, why don't you try light crew? And I was like, but can I be on light crew? He's like, I don't know. Ask Cameron. And it's like, at the time, like, I'd see Cameron around, and I was like, he was just one of those people I didn't want to talk to because
very intimidating.
I thought he would like just say no or just not
Slap the shit out of you.
I don't know, but then
He
I
had
asked
that
him,
face that made you think he was gonna kill you.
and then I joined him. I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, that was easy."
Yeah.
And then first light call, it's where I met like Parker, Jensen,
Yeah.
just everyone, and I
Yep.
was like, "Wow, this is a lot of fun."
My first time acting on stage wasn't my first time on stage. That was actually the year before when I did, going back to music, the talent show for our high school. This kind of happened out of nowhere a little bit. Like at that time I had played drums before, but I wasn't as skilled as I am now, obviously. But my friend Roman, he played guitar, and we knew each other, but we weren't like friends then. I think he heard through one of our mutual friends that I had played drums, and he came up to me one day and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do the talent show with me?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" I didn't really think about it that much. I just kind of said yeah. And we ended up practicing. It was actually a Tool song, Sober by Tool. And it was just us two at the very beginning. So we both auditioned with just us two, drums and guitar. And we got in with just the two of us. And the guy who's running the talent show actually said, he's like, "Hey, you guys got to get more people in there because you sound really good now, but imagine how you'd sound with a full band." And we were just like, "Shit, okay, dude, yeah." So we ended up getting a bassist who was already in the show. He was helping out with a bunch of other acts. He was playing guitar and bass. If he's watching this, hello. His name is Javier Roman.
Find him.
He's so talented. He is so. I remember listening to him play guitar one day, And I was like, wow, what song is that? And he's like, it's not really a song. I'm just kind of like doing whatever. And he was like fingering different notes. It was like so fluidly. It went so smoothly. I thought it was a song that he had practiced, but he was just fucking doing whatever. He was just
Feeling the
freestyling.
He
music.
was so good at what he does.
I always found that memory sticks with me because I thought it was so fucking amazing.
The power of music.
Yeah. That is so cool. He's so talented. And I feel bad that we never actually started a band with him because he wanted to. He showed enthusiasm about wanting to start a band. And
It's not too late.
it's not, I guess. We can still start it. Javier, if you're watching this, hit me up. We'll start a band. Fuck yeah. We'll find people to join our band, and
You have my full support.
I really want to start a band.
I'll produce.
Right.
But continuing, we got someone to sing for us. This is not such a great idea to do this. You should never have a significant other in a band with you. But yeah, I brought my girlfriend at the time to sing, and she didn't have experience singing at all. It was just really hard to find anyone who could sing and that was willing to sing that song because it's a metal song. Most people who can sing don't like metal music. So she was kind of our like only hope at the time. But anyway, being on stage and feeling that rush of having the audience watch you play, the rush that I had on stage was amazing. And I think we only did it for 2 days, the talent show. But that felt amazing. That was the first time I remember performing in front of, I mean there's a time before that, but that was like my first actual time performing an instrument in front of people. And that was such an amazing feeling, and that's part of what got me into starting to do shows the next year, doing the plays and the musicals. Very powerful.
Well, if we're talking about first times here, I guess it's my turn. My very first experience with theater was back in middle school. No, it wasn't. It was 6th grade. It was 6th grade for me.
Yeah.
The teacher made her own production, and we did it for her and whatnot. And I loved it. It was fun. It was pretty good for all the people that are in there. I don't like to be like big headed or anything about it, but not everybody wanted to be there, and you could see it.
I got that
you could
feeling.
see it.
Yep.
But away from that, we actually did a Mark Twain like mini production back when I don't remember. I honestly try not to entirely remember it, but it was my favorite experience. It was small, but it was still like life changing for some of us. What we wanted to do.
Yep.
Which is also the first time I ever had to improvise on stage.
Dude, improv is so much fun.
Dude, it was the scariest moment of my life, but I think that's why I love doing it right now.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, and no, but the worst part is that it was like some frog leaping thing. This is back when, I don't know if you guys will ever see this, but Maddie, Damien, Allie, Maria, Alyssa, anybody else that I knew back then when we actually did this back, if you remember this, you can comment down below on how bad this was. It was bad. But I mean, like, it was still fun, and we did it. Like, don't get me wrong, for our age group, we still did a pretty good job. I had to measure out, these people played the frogs and they jumped a certain distance. The measuring tape was gone. The measuring tape was gone, and it's pitch black in the back, and I can't find it. I'm freaking out. We have to go on stage. I'm on stage going like this. Okay, it's got to be in a pocket. It's got to be somewhere. I can't find it. I'm looking at everybody else. Maybe it's like caught in the pants leg or something. I'm staring around. I'm like, holy crap. What
The
is
stress.
Dude, I'm like, what am I going to do? Okay,
I've definitely felt that. Yeah.
So, so they jumped. They jumped, I should say,
Yeah.
a certain distance. I get on my hands and knees and I go, okay, that's one arm, that's two arms, that's another arm, that's an arm and a half, and two thumbs. And I look up and I repeat what I just said. The director is at the very top, laughing his ass off, just in complete. Dude, it was so funny, and everybody in the audience was dying of laughter. And Damien, he's playing Mark Twain. He's sitting there in the rocking chair, holding the book, going. He's like, how do I respond to that? He's like, and then he just says a number, and I'm like, oh God, I'm so happy that worked. Dude, I was hot, I was stressed, I didn't know what to do. At the very end, the director comes up to me. He was like, where was the measuring tape? I was like, I have no idea. He's like, that's okay, because what you did was hilarious. I'm like,
So what was actually supposed to happen?
I'm supposed to take the measuring tape. Somebody else is supposed to set their foot down, and I'm supposed to measure the distance.
Oh.
We couldn't find it. Dude, I have never been so stressed in my life. I don't know. That was great. That was a life memory. For any of you that remember that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dude, sometimes props malfunctions are the best.
Dude.
Yeah. Speaking of messing up on stage, when I was doing the talent show, there was one show where I dropped my drumstick, and I had extra drumsticks there just in case because, I had done my research. People drop drumsticks on stage. I remember when that happened. I remember when I dropped it, I picked another one up so fast you couldn't even notice. I remember watching the video back, and I was like, what? Wait a second. What? You don't even notice. Like,
That's
if you
impressive,
rewatch the
though.
video, I would be so stressed out. Even practicing right now, and if I drop a drumstick, it'll take me a few seconds to go reach for another one. But it's the adrenaline that you have on stage that makes you just go.
Dude, yes.
It's there. The adrenaline is there for
Have
you.
that cat-like reflexes, dude. That stuff is stressful.
yeah.
All I have to
Jeez.
say is don't trust techies with your props. Know where your props are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to slap a few folks.
Because there was, for Music, Comedy, and Murders,
Oh no.
the real swords we had.
You had real swords for that show? I wasn't in that show.
Me and the props master, we had a sword fight. And we reenacted the scene from Revenge of the Sith.
Dude, the amount of panic, and I didn't have much. I didn't have much, except a freaking little flip knife that was actually a comb.
Yeah.
There was a malfunction that was absolutely hilarious. I will get back to, but people are like, yo, where my stuff at? Da-da-da-da-da. I can't find it. Go check the dressing room. Blah blah blah. I'm just like, we've been preparing for the past 6 hours, and you lost your stuff, and it's been like a minute and a half.
It's the best when actors lose their props because
It's
we
absolute
always know
panic.
where they are.
That's the worst part.
And most of the time, we'll just let them figure it out for themselves.
We have little cubbies where your stuff is supposed to be, and then it's not there. And we're like, why were you touching it? And we're about to go on in about 5 minutes.
It's always the most expensive props that go missing. Didn't your crowbar break in one of the shows?
Multiple
Yo,
times.
okay.
There was a show, it was Sister Act, where
You did a fantastic job in that, by the way. That was great.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you
That was
so
a good
much.
show.
Sister Act was very good. It got me emotional. That's saying something.
There's one of my friends' aunts remember me as the bad guy in that show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I met her at a party and she was like, "You're the bad guy," and I'm like, "What?"
That's one way to start it
She's
off.
like, what?
Yeah, she's
How
like,
did you know?
In that show, I was like, "Oh, yeah."
Dude, that's when your hair was longer too and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had long hair. But in that show, I was supposed to have a crowbar, and I would hit a character over the head with it to kill him. Originally in the script it was a gun, but we obviously couldn't have that prop, so we used a crowbar instead. And it wasn't a real crowbar.
We were gonna, and it was gonna have blanks.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did
we
not
had
know
the prop
this.
gun and we had the blanks up in the we found them up in the props room.
Huh.
But because of something that happened, we
Recently,
couldn't.
Yeah, it was.
We couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was in a bad time. So
So that's right. That's true.
It would have just been poor taste.
Yeah. Right.
As to say all of Heather's wasn't, but
That's you're not wrong. That was literally the
see,
next
we used a
year.
gun in that one.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I'm not saying. Okay. That was like my only line though, in that entire show. In Heather's. Oh my God, what happened?
What was it?
What? I'm so upset.
Because you were the dad.
I was the dad, and then he fires off. I think he fired off the gun. I go, God damn it, Jason! I told you no firearms in the house.
Yeah.
That was my only real line in that entire show, and I loved it. I don't do musicals. That's why I loved it.
Yeah, that is.
See, I love
God.
musicals. They're so much fun to
yeah,
work on
yeah.
from a technician's standpoint.
Speaking of musicals, the one that we did for Allstate, which we mentioned in the first episode, that actually got me crying
It's a good show.
for a musical. That actually
In
got
the
me
Heights
crying.
is a very good show.
Yeah.
Yes, that actually got me crying.
I think the show that got me closest to crying was Big Fish.
That was a
Yo.
phenomenal
But was
show.
then-
Yo.
But was then I don't want to say ruined because I did enjoy that moment. There's a moment where one of our classmates it was at the previous theater festival at where this happened. One of our classmates he laughed. It
It
sounded
wasn't
like
a laugh.
well, it sounded like he yelled no, and the only silent part in this song, in this really powerful song,
The entire thing at that.
the only
show.
silent moment in the pretty much the entire
One of the
show,
most climactic parts.
he busts out laughing, but he only lets out one ha,
One.
and he goes, no!
And
I will hope. I hope you know that I got so much shit for that because
You were sitting right next to him, weren't you?
No. It's
No,
not because of that. It's when I was in Allstate.
Yeah.
Oh.
People
Yeah.
remembered.
Yeah.
remembered him for that.
Yep, that's true. But I remember there's a guy that was sitting right next to him, and he was telling me the story of when it happened. Yeah, Joel. Yeah, Joel. If you're watching
was
this, this is you. I'm shouting you out,
This
Joel
is
Cordonier.
you.
I remember him telling me this story of that happening, him immediately going into shock, turning his head and seeing the entire theater staring at them.
I remember that because I was on the other end.
Funny.
We were sitting next to each other. it was you, me, Brandon.
And the kids, this kid's mom was sitting directly behind me. I knew who it was immediately. I tried so hard to keep my laugh in because I knew what had happened
Dude,
immediately.
I was wide-eyed and I was like,
I'm pretty sure you grabbed onto me. You
Dude.
were losing it.
I was like, are you serious? Okay, no hate to the guy at all. At all. I apologize for everybody that was in that theater. But that was kind of funny.
That was fucking hilarious.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
We were that school that went in there and just disrupted every little fragment of peace.
Yeah, a little bit.
I remember Joel telling me the stories because they were like, he was laughing basically the entire time, but he was trying hard to keep it in.
Yeah.
But that one single moment of complete silence is when he
Maybe
just
it was
broke.
maybe it was like a sense of like it's okay because like it's dark,
Yeah.
But
But he let it
everyone-
out as the lights were coming back up.
I remember being completely dark. Lights are getting ready to come back up, but the thing is, we are dead in front.
We were front
Row, the center. At that, all the attention from up here went.
I hope you know backstage heard it too.
Oh God, good times though, good times.
Oh, that's good.
Oh man.
Speaking of embarrassing moments, I guess. My mom signed me up in like middle school or something like that. My mom signed me up for an acting class, or I think it was a filmmaking class. So it wasn't just acting. It was like, I think it was more of like how to shoot scenes, and we didn't even shoot the scenes. It was kind of it was a very janky. I don't remember exactly who put this on, but they have a YouTube channel. It's called Fathead Films. I was in one of their videos. This was a script written by one of the kids in our class. It was edited by the guys who were teaching the class, and then it was edited so poorly. So poorly. I could do so much better of a job. But it's a video called Zombie School by Fathead Films, if you want to go watch it.
It's the worst video in the world.
It's very cringy.
Guess what I'm watching when this is over?
Yeah, we'll show it to you, and maybe at some point I'll kind of react to it and like kind of break down.
Let's watch.
No, I will. I'll like react to it, and I'll like pause it in between. I'll explain what happened,
what was supposed to happen,
or what was supposed to happen. Because there's so much stuff that doesn't make any sense whatsoever to an audience member.
Should we do a zombie film?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need more people.
That's not hard to
We
find.
could all remake this, I think.
Us three.
Remake a more dramatic version.
Us three.
Well, not just us three. We would have to have more
that's
people.
impressive.
But if we do that, that would be super cool to do. But to like recreate it.
I know
but
people
like
that
make
ask
it
to
better.
help do makeup and stuff too, so that
do
does
too.
help. Yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah.
You probably don't know who you are.
I don't know who you are.
I meant
Or
my
do I?
people, not your
Do I
people.
know?
Oh,
No. Do I know who that is?
I think you guys know of them, but I'll have to contact them first.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Going back to the video, there's so many things, so many jokes and references that don't make any sense. There's one whole part of the video that I came up with, but the directors had no fucking idea what I was thinking of when I told them this idea. So it just doesn't make sense whatsoever. The music doesn't go with it at all either. And the music is so loud you can't hear anyone talking. It's so poorly edited. It blows my mind. Oh my god. And these guys, I don't know if they were college students or if they were like adults trying to make a quick buck or whatever. They were so bad at making this film.
Have they made anything else recently?
I don't know. I actually wanted to like check it out to see if they have made anything recent.
Maybe they made something a little better. It might have been like their startup thing.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't spend any time on it. Maybe they threw it together last minute and that's what happened. But there's so many things that don't make sense because we would discuss them in the classes that we had, and they would like evolve, but we didn't take the audience into consideration whether or not it would make sense to the audience.
True.
We just thought of jokes that we thought were funny and threw them in there.
All right. Yeah, makes sense.
And that almost happened with our acting class at Rock Valley. The thing that the play that I was doing that he wrote actually. We for our final project we wrote scripts, and
Couldn't do it.
he picked like a few of them to do like
Just like in front of the class.
yeah he would give that script to a group who that person who wrote the script wasn't in, and we would make a play based around that. And I got his script, my group, and there's this one girl that wanted to throw these jokes in that didn't make sense, and that was kind of in poor taste in context with the
With the
script.
story.
Yeah, it was a little bit more of a serious script, so I didn't want to like. Yeah. I didn't. I mean, serious as in like it didn't have to do anything with like serious topics.
There was a lot that I had to cut out because it was just something from that I had previously been working on.
Yeah, it was like a kind of like a demo of like what you were working on, basically.
It was a script that had a full Act 1 and starting into Act 2. However, I had to cut a lot of Act 1 out so it would fit the criteria.
Yeah. It had to be short enough, but it also had to be long enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like in between these.
But it was supposed to be something serious, correct?
No, it could be whatever. I mean, my
right.
script was about like random, just like double.
Yeah. Let me clarify that these scripts that we wrote, they didn't need to be serious. They could be funny if we wanted. We literally just wrote about whatever we wanted to. Mm-hmm. But his just so happened to be a slightly more serious script. It wasn't necessarily about like a dead serious topic. It was just kind of a more serious
setting.
Yeah.
It was like before a major war broke out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. And
so was the person just trying to be like the comedic relief in a way?
yeah, there. Let me give you an example. There's
okay.
Yeah, they wanted. So we had like sound effects. I created like a whole like sound effect like track for it, which I thought was pretty cool. And at the end, she wanted. It was supposed to fade to black, as you hear the nuke going off, in the background. And she wanted to put a Mario death sound at the end. That. And I was like, I was really pushing against that, and I'm so glad that I said something at some point. I was like, I just don't want to like disrespect his script or anything like that because it's
you
a
didn't
more
know
serious.
It was my script at the time, though.
I did.
You did?
did actually. Yeah,
Oh.
because it said your name on it. I think.
No, it didn't. The scripts didn't have names on them.
Oh no! What happened was you told me about what you wrote, and then I got your script.
Oh, but you just didn't tell me.
Yeah, I didn't tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to be discreet about it, but luckily everyone else agreed with me that we didn't want to have like that kind of like jokey stuff in it.
Did you tell everyone else that it was my script, or did you just keep that?
I said no. I said I knew who the person was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say it was you
Even
because
though-
Sam was in that class for a time.
But he wasn't part of that.
Yeah, he wasn't a part of that.
I
But also
Literally just
Misai,
you,
we
Misai.
dropped out.
yeah. So it could have been. It could have basically been one or two. And I knew a few other people in that class too. So it could have been one of those like 4 or 5 people.
That's true.
I just said I knew who wrote the script, basically. But that's all I said. I didn't tell him that it was yours until we revealed it at the end.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but then the teacher was, the professor was like, "Hey, you want, does whoever want their script to be known?" And I was like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, you took a second to decide that. I remember.
Yeah.
I was like, I tried not to look at you because I was like, they're gonna know. So I just let you stand up after a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Rise. Sorry.
Listen, I'm just happy I was Captain Morgan.
Hey.
Yeah, he was Captain Morgan in his script.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning into Junk Drawer. We're so happy that you guys came back and have stayed all the way up to the end. My name is Samuel Stewart.
I'm Antonio Lara.
I'm Brian Rivera.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Yo.